السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهد الله فهو المهتدي ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما. قال الله تعالى في كتابه العزيز بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الله لا يظلم مثقال ذرة وإن تك حسنة يضاعفها ويؤتي من لدنه أجرا عظيما. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, all praise is due to Allah Azza wa Jal, Lord of the worlds. And we ask Him to send His greatest peace and blessings upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and upon his family and his companions, and upon all the believers until the day of judgment, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Allah Azza wa Jal says in the Quran, or in English, indeed Allah never wrongs anyone, even by an atom's weight. And if it is a good deed, He will multiply it many times over and will give great reward out of His grace. A question that we commonly get asked by Muslims and non-Muslims is the idea of hellfire. Why has Allah created hellfire, and why do people get punished in hellfire? It's a tricky question, a prickly one, and one that people often shy away from answering because they struggle perhaps with it themselves, or they don't necessarily know the answer. Hellfire is terrifying. Its descriptions are very vivid in the Quran, and any reflection on the kinds of things that are happening in hellfire would make you run as far as you can in the other direction. It's a place that you, if you had seen it or if you see it, you would wish it upon no one. And the Prophet ﷺ, having been someone who saw it and witnessed it, in the middle of the battlefield, he would be praying for his people that they don't be misguided, that Allah guide them, knowing that what waits for people who disobey Allah and disobey the Prophet ﷺ in the next life. But there's something before I begin that we must address. If there's something we don't understand in our faith, we have to first believe in it and then try and understand it. Our faith is not based on whether you can understand something. And Islam is not premised on you understanding it. There are countless examples of this. From your own children and the way you raise them. A baby just picks up anything and puts it in its mouth. You don't wait for it to understand why it can't put the thing in its mouth before taking it out. You stop it. And that continues up until adults. People wanting to buy something and do something, thinking that is what's best for them, but not really understanding what is. Imam Rumi writes about an ant weaving through a carpet. And he's commenting and praying to his Lord, saying, what strange creation you've made. There's like a red tree here, there's a blue tree here, there's a crumb, there's this I have to weave around. And little does the ant know that if it was to take a step back, he would see the beautiful pattern that Allah, that the rug had formed. So before beginning this question, it's important that we don't come to this question from a perspective of, I don't believe in this idea, I don't believe in hellfire, I don't believe in Allah, or I don't astaghfirullah al-azim. But rather, it comes from a perspective like that of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, the prophet, the great prophet. When he asked Allah Azza wa Jal, Arini kayfa tuhyi al-mawta, show me how you bring the dead back to life. And he says, awalam tu'min, don't you believe? Because now wala yatma'inna qalbi. Yes, but I just want my heart to have that kind of tranquility. There's a difference between believing in something and not believing versus just wanting to witness something you already believe, to have that assurance, to have that firmity of belief. So we come back to the question, why indeed Allah has created hellfire? And we go back to this verse. Indeed, Allah never wrongs anyone, even by an atom's weight. The Prophet ﷺ, when he described this verse, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri narrates that whoever had the weight of a speck of faith in his heart will depart the hellfire. يخرج من النار من كان في قلبه مثقال ذرة من الإيمان. In another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, paradise. And he was asked, who will enter paradise? He said, all of you will enter paradise except the one who refuses. And they said, why would someone refuse to enter paradise? And he responded, if they obey me, they enter paradise. And if they disobey me, or if they refuse to obey me, then they have chosen not to enter paradise. Now, hellfire as a place is very terrifying. But there's a very important idea that we have to understand in this question, which is who is placing the person in hellfire? This terrifying place, when you hear about it, when you see it, when you experience it, people can be living in hellfire. But the question is who put them there and who takes them out? And Allah makes it very clear that it's the person themselves that chooses to remain in that place. If I had the door open and there was a fire in this building, I could tell you run out the door, I can try and shove you, but if you insisted that you didn't want to leave, it's your own choice. And if you look at the verses in the Quran, the verses in their phrasing is very interesting, and this is something that we need to do a bit more study on. But the people of hellfire, when they're speaking about leaving hellfire, at no point do they speak about their own faith in that moment in hellfire. None of them acknowledge God's existence. And those who do, there are narrations of how they'll be taken out from hellfire. The Prophet ﷺ describes a person who has actually been condemned. God says we're going to put him in hellfire. Two people, in fact. The first one runs towards hellfire, and the second one, as he's being taken away, he looks back. Allah brings them back and He says, what? Why did each of you act in a different way? Not that Allah didn't know, but He wanted to see them witness their own actions. The first one said, I realized that your command must be obeyed. So there's no point disobeying, so I have to obey it and obey it fully. And I rush towards what you have decided. The second one said, I had hope in your mercy. And I thought, even if you had decided that I had to go to hellfire, perhaps if I look back, you might look at me with mercy and turn my affair. Both of them were taken out of hellfire and put into paradise. So you ask the question, and it's an important one, this scary place that has been created and that people are put in, why are they there? And why has Allah created it? Why Allah has created it is a question for another time. But who put them there and why they are in there, you have to ask the person that stays there. And ultimately, as a Muslim, I struggle to understand why anyone who can hear the stories of hellfire can still choose not to obey Allah Azza wa Jalla. I spoke to somebody, I'll finish with this, I said, what have you got to lose? If you hear these stories of paradise and you hear the stories of hellfire, even if you have 10% belief in it, are you willing to take that risk? Because at the end of the day, it's your choice. And those choices are what you live by. And Allah Azza wa Jalla makes sure that every person has complete clarity before they make that choice. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم السلام عليكم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فهو المهتدي ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما. This question was one of the questions we were asked by our youth in the community. And the ability to answer these questions to a teenager is a very critical stage because that plants in them a faith which grows with them and nurtures a new generation. Last week I spoke about the importance of helping and building our next generation and our youth group. For anyone who wishes to take part, inshallah, please let me know because we're planning how this is going to be. We're building that structure, inshallah. And more importantly, for the girls' youth group, because we need female volunteers to help with that, because that's something that we're very lacking in. And inshallah, we've got a structure that will be functional and manageable, inshallah. The second thing before I move is the next khutbah starts a bit earlier because of the prayer times. So try and leave as quickly as you can for the khutbah, inshallah.
Tonight, why there is evil in the room.
And finally, inshallah, tonight in the halaqah, another important question will be asked is around the problem of evil. Why is there evil in the world? And now inshallah we discussed at 8 o'clock, pray Isha, and then we'll do a study circle for an hour after that, inshallah. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات المسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك سميع مجيب الدعوات. Allah, we ask you to make hellfire haram for us and to enter us into people, make us from the people of paradise, Ya Rabbal Alameen. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين
آمين.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين
آمين.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Inshallah, if you can try and leave, inshallah, as soon as possible, just so that the next Jama'ah can commence, inshallah.